Speak Daily English. Real English every day.
Have you ever watched a colleague walk into your boss's office and walk out with a promotion or special project? What if I told you that specific English phrases could dramatically change how your boss perceives your value? Today, we're revealing 8 powerful English phrases that can transform your relationship with management and potentially fast-track your career.
And the best part? These aren't complicated business jargon. They're natural, powerful expressions that anyone can master, even if English isn't your first language.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to Speak Daily English. I'm Alex.
And I'm Sarah. We're excited to have you with us today for what might be one of our most practical episodes yet.
Absolutely. Today, we're diving into English phrases to impress your boss, expressions that can genuinely transform your professional image and opportunities.
You know, Alex, I've worked with hundreds of non-native English speakers in corporate environments, and I've noticed something interesting. Technical skills often get people hired, but communication skills get people promoted.
That's so true. And it's not just about speaking English fluently. It's about choosing the right phrases that signal competence, reliability, and leadership potential.
Think about your current workplace communication. Do you find yourself using the same basic phrases over and over? Or maybe you stay quiet in meetings with management because you're not sure what to say.
We understand that challenge. That's why today's episode isn't just about memorizing phrases. It's about understanding the psychology behind why certain expressions make such a positive impression on management.
Before we dive in, if you're new here, we focus on practical, real-world English that you can use immediately. Hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications so you don't miss our weekly episodes on professional English.
Now, let's transform how your boss perceives you with these 8 powerful English phrases.
English phrases to impress your boss. 8 power expressions for workplace success.
Absolutely. Bosses love employees who don't wait to be told what to do. The first power phrase in this category is, "I've taken the liberty of."
This phrase signals that you've gone beyond your basic responsibilities. For example, I've taken the liberty of researching 3 solutions to our shipping delays.
I love that phrase because it positions you as someone who thinks ahead. What's another initiative phrase, Sarah?
Another powerful one is, I anticipated we might need. For example, I anticipated we might need additional data on this, so I've prepared this supplementary report.
That's excellent. It shows foresight, which is a leadership quality. I'd also add, I'd like to volunteer too.
Yes, like, I'd like to volunteer to lead the client presentation next week. This shows ambition and confidence.
Think about your recent work interactions. Have you used phrases that demonstrate initiative, or do you typically wait for assignments?
A good practice is to use at least one initiative phrase in every meeting with your boss. But here's an important tip. Make sure you can deliver on what you're volunteering for.
That's crucial advice. Nothing undermines credibility faster than promising something and not delivering.
So our initiative phrases are, I've taken the liberty of, I anticipated we might need, and I'd like to volunteer to.
Now let's move on to our second category of phrases that will definitely impress your boss. The second category contains problem-solving expressions. These phrases show you're solution-oriented, not just problem-focused.
This is so important. Bosses are constantly dealing with problems. When you present yourself as a problem solver, you become incredibly valuable.
The first power phrase here is, I've identified the root cause as, and here's my proposed solution.
This is powerful because it shows analytical thinking. Instead of just saying, we have a problem, you're showing you've done the mental work to understand and solve it.
Exactly. I've seen this work wonders in my corporate training. Another effective phrase is, I see this as an opportunity to.
I love that one. It reframes problems as opportunities. For example, I see this client complaint as an opportunity to strengthen our quality control process.
Notice how this shifts the conversation from negative to positive. Bosses appreciate optimistic problem solvers.
Adding, the third problem-solving phrase I recommend is, I've prepared some options for moving forward.
This shows you're thoughtful and thorough. Instead of bringing just one solution, you've considered multiple approaches.
I once had a team member who always used this approach. Even when facing major project challenges, she'd come to me saying, I've prepared 3 options for moving forward, each with different resource requirements. She was promoted twice in 18 months.
That's a great example. And what made her stand out wasn't just having solutions, but how she communicated them.
Which of these problem-solving phrases could you use in your next conversation with your boss? Our third category focuses on accountability language, phrases that show you take ownership of your work.
This is perhaps the most impressive quality to any manager. Accountability is rare and incredibly valuable.
The first accountability phrase is straightforward but powerful. I take full responsibility for.
This phrase shows integrity and maturity. Whether it's I take full responsibility for the delay in the project timeline or I take full responsibility for ensuring this gets done correctly, it signals leadership material.
But of course, only use this phrase when you genuinely can take responsibility. It loses all power if used insincerely.
Absolutely. The second accountability phrase is, you can count on me to deliver this by.
This phrase combines accountability with a specific commitment. It gives your boss confidence that they don't need to follow up or worry about this task.
Think about how refreshing this is for managers who spend much of their day following up on assignments and checking progress.
Our third accountability expression is perfect for when things don't go as planned. I learned a valuable lesson from this, and here's what I'll do differently next time.
That's excellent. It acknowledges a mistake but immediately pivots to growth and improvement.
I remember using this with my director after a presentation that didn't go well. Instead of making excuses, I said, I learned a valuable lesson about preparation from this experience, and next time I'll run through the entire demo in advance. His response, this is why you're so good to work with.
That's perfect. It turned a negative into a positive impression.
These accountability phrases demonstrate emotional intelligence and professionalism. Now let's move to our fourth category.
Category 4 contains strategic thinking phrases that show you see the bigger picture.
This is what separates individual contributors from future leaders, the ability to think beyond the immediate task.
The first strategic phrase is, this aligns with our larger goal of.
This shows you understand company priorities. For example, this marketing approach aligns with our larger goal of expanding into the education sector.
Bosses notice when employees connect their work to company objectives. It shows you're thinking like a manager already.
Another powerful strategic phrase is, I've considered the long-term implications, including,
Yes, this demonstrates foresight and careful consideration. It shows you're not just focused on quick fixes.
for instance, you might say, I've considered the long-term implications of this vendor change, including maintenance support and upgrade compatibility over the next 3 years.
That level of thinking is exactly what executives look for when identifying promotion candidates.
Our final strategic expression is, from a cost-benefit perspective.
Building on the idea, this shows business acumen and practical thinking. It tells your boss you're considering resource allocation wisely.
Like saying, from a cost-benefit perspective, investing in the premium software now will save us approximately 20 hours of manual work monthly.
Have you tried using strategic language with your manager? If not, which of these phrases could you incorporate this week?
Even using just one of these strategic phrases in your next meeting can shift how your boss perceives your potential. Our fifth category might surprise you. It's feedback-seeking expressions.
That's interesting. Some might think asking for feedback shows weakness, but it's actually the opposite, right?
Exactly. Research shows that employees who regularly seek feedback are rated as more effective and are promoted faster. It shows self-awareness and a growth mindset.
So, what's our first feedback-seeking phrase?
I'd appreciate your perspective on how I could improve.
This shows humility paired with ambition, a powerful combination. It tells your boss you're committed to excellence.
For example, you might say, I'd appreciate your perspective on how I could improve my client presentations. What do you think worked well and what could be stronger?
To listeners, notice how specific this request is. You're not just asking, how am I doing, but seeking actionable feedback on a particular skill.
The second feedback phrase is, what would make this even more effective from your perspective?
I love this one. It positions the feedback as collaborative improvement rather than criticism.
Explaining, it's particularly useful when sharing a draft or proposal. Instead of asking, is this good, you're inviting constructive input.
I used this approach with my previous manager on a major proposal, asking what would make this even more effective for the executive team. She suggested 2 small changes that likely made the difference in getting approval.
Our final feedback expression is, I'm working to strengthen my skills in, what resources or opportunities would you recommend?
This is brilliant because it does double duty. It shows your commitment to improvement while also potentially opening doors to new projects or training.
To listeners, this approach also makes it easier for your boss to mentor you by giving them a specific way to help your development.
These feedback-seeking phrases demonstrate confidence and professionalism. Now, let's move to our 6th category. Our 6th category focuses on team-oriented language that shows you're collaborative and supportive.
This is crucial because bosses need people who can work well with others and contribute to a positive culture.
The first team phrase is, I'd like to recognize colleagues' name for their contribution to.
This shows generosity and leadership. Giving credit to others reflects well on you and demonstrates that you're secure in your own contributions.
Like saying in a meeting, I'd like to recognize Michelle for her exceptional research that made this presentation possible.
This is especially powerful when done in front of your boss and other team members.
Our second team-oriented phrase is, how can I support you and the team on this priority?
This is one of my favorites. It positions you as service-oriented and demonstrates awareness of team goals.
Instead of just focusing on your assigned tasks, you're showing willingness to contribute to collective success.
I had a colleague who used this regularly with our director. Even though he was junior on the team, he became the director's go-to person simply because he consistently asked how he could support broader initiatives.
The final team expression is, I've consulted with colleagues to ensure this approach works across departments.
This shows you understand the importance of cross-functional collaboration and that you take initiative to build consensus.
In today's interconnected workplace, bosses highly value employees who can work across silos and build bridges.
These team-oriented phrases show emotional intelligence and leadership potential, qualities that make bosses see you as promotion material. Category 7 contains time management phrases that demonstrate reliability and organization.
This is so important. Nothing impresses bosses more than employees who respect deadlines and manage expectations well.
Our first time management phrase is, I've prioritized this based on our discussion about department goals.
This shows strategic thinking about time allocation. You're not just busy, you're focused on what matters most.
For instance, I've prioritized the client database update based on our discussion about improving retention rates this quarter.
This demonstrates that you're thinking about business impact, not just checking off tasks.
The second time management phrase is straightforward but powerful. You'll have this on your desk by specific time on specific day.
Specificity with deadlines shows professionalism and builds trust. It's much stronger than, I'll get this to you soon or by the end of the week.
When you consistently deliver on these specific commitments, your boss learns they can rely on your word.
In my previous role, I had a team member who was incredibly specific about delivery times. If she said, you'll have the report by 2 p.m. Thursday, it was always there, often earlier. That reliability earned her tremendous trust.
Our final time management expression is perfect for when you're juggling multiple priorities. Given my current workload, I can deliver this by date. Would that work for your timeline?
This is excellent because it shows honesty while still being solution-oriented.
Instead of simply saying, I'm too busy, or overpromising and underdelivering, you're proposing a realistic solution.
How many times have you agreed to an unrealistic deadline only to miss it? This phrase helps prevent that situation.
These time management phrases demonstrate professionalism and reliability, qualities every boss values. Now, let's move to our fining category.
Our eighth and final category features growth mindset expressions that show you're forward-thinking and adaptable.
In today's rapidly changing workplace, this quality is increasingly valuable to management.
The first growth mindset phrase is, I'm currently developing my skills in.
This shows self-awareness and proactivity about professional development. It tells your boss you're investing in your growth.
For instance, I'm currently developing my skills in data visualization to better communicate our findings to clients.
This also subtly informs your boss about capabilities they might not know you're building.
Our second growth mindset phrase is, I've been researching industry trends in and found some relevant insights for our team.
This demonstrates intellectual curiosity and initiative. It shows you're thinking beyond your daily tasks.
When you bring new information and perspectives, you become more valuable to your manager and the organization.
I once had a team member who regularly shared relevant articles and research with brief notes on implications for our projects. This simple habit positioned him as forward-thinking and eventually led to him heading our innovation committee.
Our final growth expression is perfect for embracing change. I see this change as a chance to improve our approach to.
This shows adaptability and positive attitude toward change, qualities leaders desperately need in their teams.
In a world where change is constant, being someone who embraces rather than resists new directions is incredibly valuable.
These growth mindset phrases position you as someone with potential for increasing responsibility and leadership.
Now that we've covered all 8 categories of phrases to impress your boss, let's talk about how to implement them naturally.
That's crucial. These phrases only work when they sound authentic, not rehearsed or forced.
My first tip is to start with just one category that feels most comfortable to you. Maybe that's the accountability phrases or the team-oriented language.
Exactly. Choose 2 to 3 phrases from that category and look for natural opportunities to incorporate them in the next week.
Remember, the goal isn't to suddenly change your entire communication style, but to gradually enhance it with more effective expressions.
Another effective practice technique is to record yourself using these phrases. This helps identify if they sound natural or need adjustment to fit your speaking style.
That's excellent advice. And don't forget to consider cultural context. Some workplaces are more formal than others.
Absolutely. You might need to adjust the wording slightly to match your company culture and your relationship with your boss.
Also, timing matters. Using these phrases in one-on-one meetings often has more impact than in large group settings.
Yes, and written communication is another great place to incorporate these expressions. Emails and reports give you time to craft your wording carefully.
What's one phrase from today's episode that you could use in your next interaction with your manager?
Try setting a small goal, perhaps using one new phrase each week. Before long, this more impressive communication style will become second nature. Let's summarize the 8 categories of English phrases to impress your boss that we've covered today.
We started with taking initiative phrases like, I've taken the liberty of, and I'd like to volunteer to.
Then we explored problem-solving expressions such as, I've identified the root cause as, and I see this as an opportunity to.
Our third category was accountability language, including powerful phrases like, I take full responsibility for, and you can count on me to deliver this by.
Fourth, we discussed strategic thinking phrases that show big picture awareness, like this aligns with our larger goal of, and from a cost-benefit perspective.
Fifth were the feedback-seeking expressions that demonstrate your growth mindset, such as, I'd appreciate your perspective on how I could improve.
Our sixth category featured team-oriented language, like I'd like to recognize, colleague for, and how can I support you and the team on this priority?
Seventh, we covered time management phrases that show reliability, including you'll have this on your desk by specific time, and given my current workload, I can deliver this by.
And finally, we explored growth mindset expressions like I'm currently developing my skills in, and I see this change as a chance to improve our approach.
Remember, the key to impressing your boss isn't just what you say, but how consistently your actions back up your words.
We'd love to hear which phrases you find most useful. Drop a comment sharing your experience or questions about professional English.
If you found this episode valuable, please subscribe to Speak Daily English wherever you get your podcasts. And don't forget to share with friends or colleagues who might benefit.
Join us next week when we'll discuss English small talk strategies for networking events. Until then, remember, the right words can open doors to new opportunities.
Thanks for listening, and we'll talk to you soon.
Speak Daily English. Real English every day.